What is going on, everybody? Quancredible here, and I'm sure you all know what time it is. It is blanket time.
I am the knight. I am Batman.
Well, maybe not quite. It actually is the review time. I don't know. I really like the reviews with this because it is like when I tell you guys outside of these videos, I wear this thing a lot. Like it is just mad comfortable and really warm.
Nobody cares!
In all seriousness though, this chapter was actually really dope, and like I read the unofficials for it, and there was like a couple things that I saw people getting confused about, so hopefully that's cleared up in the actual officials that I'll go into later, as well as there was some like things that like just went better in the officials. Because for example, in the unofficials it had the entire time frame of the fight that Noct had against the two devils very wrong, because if you remember last chapter, it showed Noct being defeated, and in the beginning of this chapter, for the unofficials it said a couple hours before the Heart Kingdom arrived, whereas in the officials that we got today it said a couple minutes, which is like huge difference. Fighting against two top level devils for a couple hours versus a couple minutes are vastly different. So I mean, it doesn't really change much for the story. I guess it just like, if anything, it just affects how strong Noct is in people's minds. That's about the only thing it really changes. So not like a super crazy big deal, but it is important nonetheless. Well, yes, Noct basically is like, he's running down his entire plan, but to basically make everything happen, he needs to separate Dante from these two top level devils, just because defeating Dante is probably the most defeatable person in the room as far as villains or as far as like the antagonists go, and just with those two there is going to make it a lot harder. One thing I do want to mention about these two top ranking devils, Lilith and Nama, is I was kind of hoping that we would get like a pinch of personality, but so far they don't really have much like personality to them. They're kind of just torture, kill, destroy, torment, play. Like they're kind of just like that, and it's not like I was expecting like huge amazing character growth or huge amazing development, I guess would be the more accurate word. Like I wasn't expecting all of that, but I was expecting just a smidge, kind of like how like the Dark Triad, we're not gonna act like they're the most like deep villains, but like they have a little bit of personality to them. Like they are themselves to a very small degree, but right now they're not really, like Lilith and Nama aren't really identifiable too much. Also, a really cool thing in this panel is you can kind of see like Dante's full body, and like he really actually does look like a devil. Like he has that like lower half and like kind of skinniest like legs and tail and stuff. Like he really like kind of encapsulates what like Zagrid or what we thought Levy was going to look like, which is definitely kind of interesting. But yes, we do see that Jack is still in the fight. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Jack was down for the count, honestly. So hopefully this does give him a chance to kind of more or less prove himself or get more of a cooler spell or technique, because I'm not saying what he did previously was that bad. It just looked kind of weird, and it was kind of like, it was just meh. It's like you just made death sights all over your body. It wasn't anything super crazy. So hopefully we get to see something a little bit more from Jack coming up on, I guess, his round 3 this would be against Dante. I don't know. Hopefully we get to see what that has in. So I personally think he's probably going to get saved by an outside party, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. So basically we see that Noct has sent his fourth devil Wagnir, or I guess it's not like the fourth, but his the fourth one that we have seen like kind of in like order here on a mission. So we're not for sure exactly what that mission was. I kind of think it may be something with helping the allies infiltrate, or it could be something with setting up an attack or plan for Morris. This is definitely probably going to play or come into play later on in the chapter. But we do get to see his fourth Devil Union mode, Gallus, which is kind of dope. I was really worried that through this arc we wouldn't get to see all of his forms, just because that like happens a lot. And like with this form, I'm 100% for certain that like Tabata is a huge fan of From Software. Like he like before making this arc or when designing Noct, he must have been playing a ton of Bloodborne and Dark Souls, because like all these characters, or like at least all of Noct's forms, look straight out of Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Like they look straight up out of there. So like it's just really dope. We see the characteristic is call, which looks like some kind of sound wave, and judging from how it affected Nama and Lilith, I'm assuming it like freezes or paralyzes people for a very small period of time, allowing a follow-up attack. And actually I'd have reason to assume it does a lot more to like people around their same level, because this was all it was able to do to two high ranking devils. So if he used it against a regular person, I'd assume it would be like way stronger. So I mean that's just, you know, my own little headcanon there, but that's just what I would assume. But like it kind of drags him down into this like church type hall, and essentially he like his main goal is just to do as best as he can, you know, for the time being, while, you know, Lilith and Nama are just kind of just playing around. Like they even say like, you know, they're going to kill him, but they're just trying to do it as slowly as possible. They're like competing against each other. This is literally a game to them. So Noct, it doesn't stand any chance, which kind of sucks, despite all of his like effort. And as we see through this chapter, through these spreads, like Noct he's doing the best he absolutely can. Like there's not a lot of characters that in the same position would probably be able to like do anything similar to that. Like,
Help me! Help me!
through the courses, it's very clear that Noct does not stand a chance at all, which the devils are curious why he doesn't run. And like it's like this statement where Noct is like, because of the fact that I can't forgive you and your unjust evil is why I'm alive, makes it really interesting, because I feel like that could play into a part of what happened back at the Faust house that we had seen, you know, where Noct took Asta to, you know, learn how to devil union. Like I feel like it might relate to something that happened back then. And this is this moment that we finally get, you know, into the Noct backstory. Now, I hear a lot of people saying that, like, they called it, you know, like, oh, I called it Noct had a twin brother, or, oh, I called it Noct was twins with somebody. And this is like,
stop the cap.
You guys don't fall for that. You guys are smarter than that. You guys know that everyone thought this. This was not a secret. This was not some kind of random obscure theory. Everybody thought this. This wasn't... Even I thought it in my review forever ago. Right here is the whole Notch twin theory, where the Notch we know isn't the actual Notch, but it's like a twin brother of the real Notch. So that could be him, and this other person could be the Notch we know today. I know that is extremely wordy and kind of confusing, but if you need to play that back, that is basically what could be going on here. Like literally everybody thought. If I could come up with this conclusion, I'm sure there are so many other reviewers and fans. Everybody knew this. So like, don't fall for that. Don't fall for the cap. But anyway, we do get the backstory. So it's the younger brother that looks like the Noct that we know presently. That was, you know, kind. You know, he was like an ideal person. And then there was the Noct that we know today, looking very different. That was like a delinquent. You know, he did whatever he wanted. He was a selfish person. All those kinds of things. And we get this interaction between Noct, Morgan, and Yami, which is really interesting because this is the first interaction that we've ever gotten to see between Noct and Yami. And it's kind of cool that we get it to in like a flashback. And it's really funny just because like Yami and Noct kind of always, or not always, but it seems like they have this kind of weird relationship where they're kind of at like odds. They might not necessarily be as like against each other as we think, but it's just funny to see that they kind of from the very beginning didn't really hit it off super well. I doubt like either one of them hates each other all like that just from this panel, but it was just cool to see them interact with each other, and the fact that like Morgan thinks that they get along really well, despite it not really seeming like that. And like that's like the end of the chapter with the reveal that this person is actually Noct and not the person who we thought, which brings credibility back to what Jack was saying during the captain's meeting of like, you know, when Jack was like, wait, you're not, and then like, yeah, Noct's like that, yeah, that guy's gone, probably referring to his brother. So yeah, it was just really it was kind of a dope reveal for his backstory as a whole. But yeah, no, I definitely liked the chapter a lot. I thought it was pretty good. You know, we got, you know, Noct backstory. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of getting backstories in chapters, as well as we finally got to see those two devils again. I've been talking about that for like 2 weeks now, at least on in my reviews. I don't know if anybody else was feeling the same way, but I was just really ready to get back to Lilith and Nama, just because like they popped out, and then Tabata would just tease them intermittently in chapters. So I was just really ready to see them. So we finally actually getting to see them in a little bit of action. You know, I enjoyed that. So all in all, I give the chapter about a 9. Let me know how you guys felt about the chapter down below. Are you guys excited for Noct's backstory? You know, excited for the Twin Devils? Excited to, you know, just kind of see overall what's going on in I guess this exact room of the Spade Castle. Yeah, I just want to know what you guys' thoughts down below. Make sure you guys don't forget to like the video, as well as subscribe to the channel for more Black Clover content. I always do enjoy bringing it to you guys. So if you guys could do that for me, that would be greatly appreciated. Outside of that, I have nothing else for you. So make sure you guys enjoy the rest of you guys' day, and I will see you all in my next video.